The wife he replaced. He replaced his wife with the woman who stole her life. But the dead do not stay silent. Especially when the living still owe them the truth. This is a story of love, betrayal, and the weight of shadows. The wife he replaced. Lin Yue was the kind of woman who loved quietly. She cooked his meals and cared for every detail of their home. She warmed his tea, waiting for him every single evening. She believed marriage meant forever, a bond that could never be broken. But her husband believed in something else entirely. He stood there, looking at her as if she were a ghost already. "You're too plain, Yue," he said without a hint of warmth. "Mei Lin understands me. She matches my status." Lin Yue felt the world crumbling beneath her feet. He didn't see a person. He saw an outdated accessory. Mei Lin, the glamorous influencer with a perfect, calculated smile. She had a heart sharp enough to cut through glass. She wanted the mansion, the name, and the life Lin Yue owned. To her, the marriage was just another brand deal to secure. She was the storm that would tear Lin Yue's world apart. He divorced Yue without a second thought or a drop of guilt. The ink on the papers was as cold as his heart. He packed her things into cheap boxes as if she were a stranger. Signed the papers, ended the life they had built together. He walked her to the door, closing it on 10 years of devotion. That night, Yue drove alone into the heart of the storm. Tears blurred the road, turning headlights into streaks of fire. The world went silent as the car skidded toward the edge. A sudden impact, the sound of metal screaming against the night. Then, everything went silent. Mei Lin moved into the mansion the very next week. She walked through the halls as if she had always owned them. She replaced Lin Yue's flowers with something more expensive. Every corner of the house was being scrubbed of Yue's memory. But the house held its breath, waiting. Mei Lin began wearing Yue's jewelry with pride. She admired herself in the mirror, sparkling with stolen grace. She was sleeping in Yue's bed, living Yue's life. Even the wedding ring Yue died wearing now sat on her finger. She thought she had won everything she ever wanted. But the mirror knows what the heart hides. The first crack appeared the night she moved in. A thin line across the mirror, like a warning from the void. But Mei Lin only smiled, dismissing the omen. She was the victor, and victors do not fear ghosts. The whispers began on the 7th night after the move. A sound like silk dragging across a cold floor. Mei Lin sat up in bed, her heart hammering against her ribs. Thief. The wind seemed to hiss in her ear. She was no longer alone in the house she stole. Mei Lin woke up gasping, rushing to find her face. Her reflection looked. Her eyes were hollow pits of shadow and regret. But when she blinked, everything was normal again. The mirror was playing games with her guilty soul. Her husband dismissed her fear with a sharp laugh. "Stop being dramatic, Mei Lin, it's just the wind." He had no room for ghosts in his perfect life. Mei Lin realized he would never protect her from the dark. But the dead do not haunt without a purpose. The next morning, Mei Lin collapsed in the hallway. The doctor's news was a shock to everyone involved. She was pregnant with the only heir he ever wanted. A child created in the shadow of a stolen life. The haunting did not stop, it simply changed its focus. The truth always returns, even when buried under lies. Mei Lin's nightmares became memories she tried to forget. She remembered the speed, the rain, and the desperation. She had cornered Yue on that cliff that night. It wasn't an accident, it was a choice. With one cold push, she ended Lin Yue's life. Not for love, not for passion, but for status. She watched the car plunge into the depths of the ocean. She thought she had buried the truth along with the body. But the ocean has a way of breathing out its secrets. As her belly grew, so did the weight of her guilt. The toys moved on their own, mocking her victory. She could feel the cold gaze of Lin Yue in every corner. Her influencer life was a lie she could no longer maintain. She was trapped in a mansion built on a foundation of bones. When the guilt became unbearable, Mei Lin finally cracked. "I didn't mean to kill her, I just wanted you," she sobbed. The husband looked at her with a new kind of coldness. He didn't care about the death, only the potential scandal. But the room was no longer just the two of them. The spirit of Lin Yue did not return for revenge. She returned to protect the child she could never have. She shielded the unborn baby from the darkness that created it. Yue's love was stronger than the hate that killed her. Even in death, she was the better woman. Mei Lin turned herself in to the police. Because guilt is a prison deeper than any stone cell. She confessed everything, from the divorce to the cliff. She accepted her fate, knowing she could never go back. The influencer was gone. Only the murderer remained. The husband lost everything in the wake of the scandal. His company collapsed under the weight of the truth. His reputation was destroyed, his image shattered forever. He was a man who valued status above all, and now he had none. Karma had stripped him of the only thing he ever loved. The child lived, a miracle born from a tragedy. He was healthy, protected by a love from beyond the grave. A new life starting where an old one was stolen. The cycle of pain was finally beginning to break. But the baby needed a home, away from the darkness. Lin Yue's sister raised the baby as her own child. She surrounded him with the warmth Lin Yue always gave. The house was filled with truth and the smell of fresh tea. He grew up knowing he was loved and protected. The shadow of the past did not touch his bright soul. Mei Lin lived her days behind cold iron bars. Her influencer dreams were replaced by the silence of the cell. She often looked at the wall, seeing things no one else could. She was no longer the woman who stole a life. She was a woman waiting for her own forgiveness. The mansion stood empty, a ghost of its former glory. Dust settled over the expensive furniture and broken mirrors. No one dared to buy a house with such a dark history. The whispers of the past still echoed in the empty halls. It was a monument to the price of a stolen life. At it, the sister sat with the boy, telling him stories of a kind woman. She was your guardian angel, she whispered to the wind. She would never let him forget the love that saved him. The truth was his inheritance, his shield against the world. They were a family built on the ruins of a tragedy. At the husband wandered the streets, a ghost of a man. He saw at Lin Yue's face in every passing stranger. The cold he felt was not from the rain, but from within. You owe me the truth, she seemed to whisper from the shadows. He realized that some debts can never be paid in gold. With her child safe, Lin Yue could finally find peace. The weight of the tragedy began to lift from the air. She dissolved into 1,000 sparks of white light. Her mission was complete, the truth was revealed. The ocean sang a new song of redemption and rest. Years passed, and the boy became a man of character. He carried the legacy of 2 women in his heart. He chose a path of kindness and quiet strength. The darkness of his origin had no power over him. He was the living proof that love can outlast any lie. Mei Lin, in her cell, finally understood the cost. The husband, forgotten by the world he once ruled. You stole her life, but she ended up saving yours. The truth is a fire that cleanses everything it touches. And that is karma. Lin Yue's memory remains, a soft whisper in the wind. The story ends, but the lesson stays eternal. Truth is a bridge that leads us back to ourselves. Sleep now, for the dead have found their peace. The end.